In more than 20 years, I've been actively engaged in social justice advocacy, whether in the public sector or as a civil rights litigator or running nonprofits. I've always had enormous respect for Open Society Foundation. The experience of growing up in Washington significantly contributed to the commitment I have to justice and fairness. When my parents moved to Washington, D.C., because Washington, D.C. is not a state, they were unable to vote for president. And even now, Washington, D.C. does not have any elected members of Congress who have voting rights. And that reality of disenfranchisement of a community of over 600,000 people was something that I grew up with and saw how it affected the ability of a community, especially a community that is majority minority, to exercise self-governance. We're going to see a very different America in 30 years. The idea that this country will be a majority-minority nation by 2042 or 2050, depending on which demographer you're listening to, means that there is change and growing diversity everywhere in the United States that will have profound influences on our politics and on our policy. I was particularly fortunate to play a role in the first legislative abolition of the death penalty since the Supreme Court decision in Furman in 1973. I was serving as chief counsel to Governor Corzine of New Jersey. On the Friday before Governor Corzine was going to sign the bill on Monday, I got a call from Rome asking if there was any legal objection Governor Corzine had to the Roman Colosseum being lit up when Governor Corzine signed the bill. It's a reminder to me about the potential impact that actions in a particular locality in the United States can have internationally, and just as much the other way around. One of the most significant crises that the country faces continues to be what's going to happen with the mortgage finance system. I think it's actually an area in which what happens internationally, particularly in Europe, has significant ramifications for what happens in the United States and vice versa. The particular challenges, I think, the Obama administration has in this area are to some extent a story of lost opportunities. But as we think of the ways in which the country got into the mortgage finance crisis and is going to come out of it, ensuring that the right kind of accountability mechanisms is particularly critical. I mean, I think more broadly, what happens as the United States fundamentally rebuilds its mortgage finance system is going to have huge ramifications, particularly on low-income communities and communities of color. And it's going to be something that's going to be worth paying some attention to.